Hey everyone, we're just gonna wait until 11 just so that everyone can get in to the meeting room. All right, good morning everybody. Welcome to our webinar announcement of the EVIEs shortlist. Hopefully the majority of people have joined, but they can come in midstream, I'm sure. But yes, so just a quick overview. The EVIE Awards are a way that we celebrate innovation and collaboration within the electric vehicle sector. As I'm sure everyone knows, we've had a great year, particularly following the election of a government that is committed to enabling the electrification of transport. And it's only fitting, really, that we celebrate all the success and all the hard work of the companies and people behind that progress. We're lucky to be joined this morning by two of our judges for the awards. We've got Melanie Shufflebotham, who is the founder and COO of ZapMap. I'm sure that's a name that anyone who drives an EV is very familiar with. She's been in the sector for over a decade. And likewise, Paul Park, the Green Car Guide, has been at the forefront of the EV sector too. He founded the Green Car Guide in 2006 and has personally reviewed every EV on the market in the UK. So I'm going to hand over to them now for some of those insights that they, as experts, can share with us, beginning with you, Paul.
Okay, thank you. Right, good morning, everyone. So I've been given 5 minutes to do an update on the world of EVs. So it's going to be the quickest summary ever. Lots of conflicting things going on. Let's start with the 2030 ban on new petrol and diesel car sales. This was introduced by Boris, remember him. Then this date was delayed to 2035 under Rishi Sunak, remember him. This message was perceived to be good for Conservative votes in the election, turned out not so much, but it was bad for many in the EV sector who had invested based on the 2030 date, as well as being bad for people who care about climate change and clean air. Now, Labour are saying that no pure petrol or diesel cars will be on sale after 2030 in the UK. Interesting that in Europe, obviously, they're looking to extend their 2035 end of sale date. But behind these dates is the ZEV mandate in the UK. So that's got a target of 22% of new car sales to be zero emission this year. That'll be 80% in 2030 and 100% in 2035. This was introduced by the last government, and it hasn't changed with this government. So there is some smoke and mirrors going on in terms of the way the Conservatives and Labour have been communicating their different stances on this. When the ZEV mandate targets actually haven't changed. The Conservatives never confirmed the details of the hybrids that will be allowed between 2030 and 2035, and Labour hasn't yet either. They're looking to consult on that. Despite the steep targets, retail EV sales are quite low in the UK due to a number of factors, including no incentives for private buyers, the cost of living crisis, and EV misinformation plays a part in this as well. So with no consumer incentives to encourage EV sales, but a £15,000 fine for each car over the target that isn't zero emission, Stellantis is threatening to close UK factories in sort of protest of this. But EV sales to businesses and fleets are doing well, and salary sacrifice schemes are very popular, making it more affordable for employees to drive EVs. The latest S&T figures show that for UK electric car sales, they recorded their best month on record in September, with over 50,000 new EVs registered, and EVs making up 20.8% of the total market share. That represents a 23% growth in sales of purely electric vehicles when compared to September the previous year. So it's not all doom and gloom for EVs, unlike many media reports. And low benefit in kind is a driver of this. However, you may have heard that there's a budget coming up. The hope is the new government helps, not hinders, EV sales with any budget announcements. We need more affordable EVs. Some good news is that prices of second-hand EVs are going down. These are also now available on some salary sacrifice schemes. This is good for consumers wanting cheaper used EVs, but it is bad for leasing companies or individuals who have bought new EVs. More good news is there's lots of exciting new electric cars out there and lots of different models. I think Joe will probably kill me if I go through the 100 models on sale. I just mentioned one. We have now the first all-electric two-seater convertible in the form of the MG Cyberster. I'm excluding the original Tesla Roadster here, which doesn't really count. I can't finish this update without talking about China. Lots of new Chinese EVs are here now, like the MG, and a lot more are due to head here. Tariffs are due on Chinese EVs from the EU and from the US and Canada, but not from the UK at the moment. Most European car makers think tariffs on Chinese EVs are a bad idea. One reason being that European OEMs sell lots of cars in China and don't want reciprocal tariffs. Going forward, electric cars shouldn't really be seen as cars. Instead, they should be seen as mobile energy solutions. Vehicle to grid charging is currently moving from trials to real life. And this is expected to be an important way to help balance the UK grid as we head to more energy generation from renewables. The big thing for me, I guess, is that we need more positive communication about EVs, which is what I do. And if you're not aware of it, the new Electric Vehicles UK initiative has just been formed, which is a partnership of organisations including media and OEMs trying to combat EV misinformation in the media. And just finally, the EV award applications that I saw show that there's some really impressive work going behind the scenes in the sector, particularly with charge point operators, which might be a good time to hand over to Melanie from ZapMap.
Brilliant, thanks, Paul. Great whistle-stop tour of all the issues and all the conversations going on within electric vehicles. Yeah, so I was just going to talk a little bit about the charging infrastructure, really the other side of the coin to the electric vehicles. I think at the top line level, it's been a really great year for charging infrastructure, similar to 2023, in fact, even better. The number of charge points that have been installed year to date, so end of September 2024, matches the whole year of 2023, which in of itself was a record year. So probably a lot of you have seen that there's a headline number, over 70,000 charge points across the UK, 41% increase versus this time last year, which is ahead of the sales of electric vehicles. And in terms of the pace of installation, that's also really increased, 1,400 per month last year, 1,800 this year. So that, really loads of work from the charge point operators. And I would echo Paul in that when I looked at the award entries, there were so many impressive examples of hubs and charge point operator work there. But of course, we know that 70,000 number is just a number, and that hides a whole load of different nuance within the charging sector. I think the key trend that we've seen over the last year is a continuing shift from the 50 kilowatt chargers to which we call rapid, to the 150 kilowatt chargers, which and above to 300 or so, which we're calling ultra rapids. The ultra rapids, there's more than double than there were this time last year, which is pretty amazing when we know how much investment goes into installing those charge points, and what huge amount of work in terms of planning, civils, getting the grid connection, etc., etc. So that's great news. More evidence of that is the huge increase in the number of hubs. When we look at the ZapMap EV charging survey, for en route charging, people want lots of chargers. They want the highest speed ever. And that is really the hubs are really fulfilling that demand. So last year there were around 200, now there are 450. So that's excluding the Tesla only ones. So I think that that is fantastic news for EV drivers. On the other side of the coin, so that the charging infrastructure that's needed for the 33% of households that don't have access to off-street parking, on-street chargers actually do make up a third of all chargers. So there are a substantial number, but I think it's fair to say that there is a lot of work that's needed there, because it's incredibly patchy. Some local authorities have done an amazing job, Oxford, Coventry, lots of London boroughs, and some have hardly even started their journey. So I think, to me, this is really where a lot of emphasis needs to go in the next 12 to 24 months. And we have the government scheme in place, so the local electric vehicle infrastructure scheme, £450 million. Tranche 1, Tranche 2 has been awarded, and it's great to see that there's already 3 tenders out in the market, and I think, talking to people at Cenex, that there's loads more coming. So that that is good news, but we need to see those tenders going into actual proposals and then starting to get chargers in the ground on that. The other big thing that's happening in charging at the moment is the PCPR regulations, which came into force last year, but November, I think it's the 24th of November is the date that a whole load of different elements come into play. So that's the 24/7 hotline that all the charge point operators need to provide. It's about clear pricing, it's about open data, and it's about 99% reliability. So these are all things that loads of charge point operators are already in place and working on really well. But I think it's great to have that framework to make sure that the EV driver experience is good and improving, because we know, although there's been loads of work, there is still some dissatisfaction from EV drivers. Our latest EV survey, ZapMap EV survey, which is coming out soon, did show a massive improvement though. So when asking how happy are you with the charging infrastructure, or are you happy of the charging infrastructure, there was a really big significant increase on people who are happier. They're seeing more chargers, more reliable, etc. But there is a long way to go. So I think that was the end of my update. So over to Molly to start getting into what everyone's really interested in, is, have you made the shortlist?
Brilliant. Thank you, Melanie. Thank you, Paul. I've been informed it sounds a bit like I'm in a wind tunnel, so apologies for that. That is the fan on my laptop, I'm afraid, so I can't shut it off. So yes, me. First up, we've got Best Consumer Proposition. The shortlist for that category is Electric Miles, Jolt, Evology, and Octopus Energy. So congratulations to them. Next up, we've got Best New Product. The shortlist for that is CTEC, Electric Miles, Grid Beyond, Jolt, Arcapedia, Project EV, Personetic, and Zaptec. Then for Best New Product, we have Anderson A3, Electric Miles, Project EV, Wavy Charge, I'm going to say, Solar Smart EV chargers, powered, that's part of the same one entry. So yes, powered by EV Energy, presumably that is the company. For best new services, we've got Charge Saint, Jolt, EO Charging, Parkopedia, 4EV, and Webfleet. For best new domestic services, we have Charge DV and Charge Guru. Sorry, we skipped ahead there. ChargePoint Manufacturer of the Year, CTEC, Quello, and Zaptec. And with that, it's over to Melanie for the next few categories. Melanie, you're muted.
Thanks, Molly. So for the ChargePoint Manufacturer of the Year domestic, we have Anderson EV, Hypervolt, and Omi. For the ChargePoint Network of the Year, very important category, we have a lot. We have BEV, we have Instavolt, we have Believe, ChargePay Scotland, Mer UK, EVC, Osprey, Evive, and Smart Charge. So well done to all of those. Charging Destination of the Year, we have Gloucester Services. We have, by multiple stakeholders, we've got the Scion Park Estate Hub by Instavolt. We've got Alton Towers Resort from Raw Charging. We've got the Myerkirk Roundabout Charging Hub up in Scotland from SSE. We've got the NEC Massive Charging Hub by the EV Network and BP. We've got the Galleries in Washington. And then we've got the VNA Dundee Car Park from Urban Fox Networks. Contractor of the Year, we have B&M Energy Solutions, Links Construction, Charge DV, M&M Contractors, Energetics, Parco's Civil Engineering, HVSS, Circonnect, Juju Charging, Sinewave. EV Financing Deal of the Year, we have Zenobi and Transport UK's London bus model. We've got accessible tariffs from BEV. We've got the Eden Red when they inquired the EV charging solution provider Spiri. Enviro Spark raising 50 million of growth financing. Love Electric's Relove platform. Novona's financing of the Osprey charging network. And Siemens acquiring smart energy management solution provider Heliox from Waterland. In terms of the EV marketing branding campaign of the year, very important to get the messaging out there. We got Shell Recharge driver program, Compleo eTower 200 launch, eVolt charging, Jersey Electric's Evolve redefining public charging, Parking Eye campaign, Power at the EV Rally 2024, All-Star Charge Pass, Team Smart Charge, and Visions of the Future from Osprey. So that's all from me. Passing you over to Paul for another set of awards.
Thank you, Melanie. So I don't think we get drum rolls yet. I think that might be on the night of the awards. So EV Scale Up of the Year. We have Advanced Infrastructure Technology, BEV, Believe, EO Charging, Love Electric, Fuse, Monta, Plug Me In, Pogo Charge, and Circonnect. Onto EV Startup of the Year, we have EcoDrive Nova Scotia, Go Pluggable, Jolt, Mobile Array EV, Opcharge UK, Pragma Charge, Tap Electric, and I think that's Wave Charge. Under 30 star, so we have Alex Ray, Vital EV Solutions, Ella McMillan, Raw Charging, Ellis Spiezia, Elysium Racing, James Bruce, Believe, Madeline North, also Believe, Marco Pappalardo, Osprey Charging Network, Michael Crichton, Pogo Charge, Nick Bellamy, EVC, Roshan Norton, Arcadis, and Ros Smith from Sinewave. So Fleet Electrification Strategy of the Year, which is for over 100 vehicles, Dundee City Council, OVO Energy, SJ Mitchell, Transport UK, London Buses, Zenian, Uber, and Admoto. And then Fleet Electrification Strategy of the Year for under 100 vehicles, Go Ahead London electrifies Croydon Depot with EO hub support. Healthcare and Transport Services, HATS Group. Voltempo Group Limited. And Motorway Service Electrification Strategy of the Year. Maverick Electric Vehicle Services. Moto Hospitality, Motorway Service Station Electrification Strategy, and Westmoreland. Private Sector Infrastructure Strategy of the Year. So we have EV Blocks, EVC, Evology, Instavolt, Jolt, Mer UK, Osprey Charging Network, and VEV, and I think that's Toot Bus. And I think that's it from me, so over to Jo.
Thank you very much to Paul, Melanie and Molly as well for your announcement of the previous shortlist, and I'll take you into the final few categories, and then there's a sneaky little discount for those of you that make it to the end of the webinar. So for Public Sector Infrastructure Strategy of the Year, the shortlisted nominees are Dundee City Council and Hampshire Council. Special Recognition Company. The shortlist includes Arcadis, ESP Utilities Group, Green King, Indra Renewable Technologies, Jolt Charge, En Route, PowerTech Limited, Sinewave, and the AA. For the category of Special Recognition Person, the nominees are Adam Woodley from Sinewave, Adrian Conliffe from Clarke and Melanie, Anne Buckingham from eVolt Charging, Fraser Crichton from Dundee City Council, Mark Pym from Charged EV, Michael Boxwell from Voltempo, Niall Riddle from PowerTech, Stuart Douglas from Pogo Charge, Tony Hodgson from EVIEs, and Trevor Palmer from EV Blocks Limited. For the Diversity Award, the shortlisted nominees are Electric Miles, EV Strategy Team, and Project EV. That's all for our categories and our shortlist. I would like to say a special thanks to all of our judges. So you've met Paul and Melanie on the webinar today, and I'm sure you've met them at many times previous to that as well. But we did have quite a few judges that helped us to score the awards and make it an independent process. So this is the first group of judges, and there is also another group of people who are scoring the awards. You'll be able to meet all of the judges on the night. Just to remind you that the EV Awards is on the 14th of November. We have a new venue, which is the Intercontinental London, and you can book a table today. The discount code for this is EVWeb10, and that gives you a 10% discount, but do hurry because that's limited just to bookings that are made today. The website to book is ev.solarenergyevents.com. That's evie.solarenergyevents.com. And in terms of the cascade of communications about the shortlist, Molly is working behind the scenes on an article for Current News. So if you're not a subscriber, do subscribe to Current News. It's completely free and it's absolutely fantastic for all things digital, low carbon, power, transport, and so on. So make sure that you're a subscriber if you're not already. The shortlist will be announced on Current News. Registrants to the webinar will receive an email from us as well, and you'll be able to download a deck of these slides from our website shortly this afternoon. So thank you very much everyone for joining us, and looking forward to seeing everyone glammed up on the 14th of November.
Cool.
You can see the numbers dropping. There's no special cuts at the end, everyone. That's it.